the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
This comes from a young man, Minnesota. My family has traditionally treated me, whether intentionally or not, as a third wheel and often disregards my input, disengages with me during a conversation, or fails to inform me of family events. So that doesn't sound too good right there. It's been this way for an extremely long time. Sorry to hear that. Now, I got married just under 6 years ago. Unfortunately, there weren't any issues on the wedding day. Well, that's good, I guess. However, a year from the wedding, my oldest sister discovered that my wife did not take my last name for professional reasons. I have no issue with her not taking my last name. A name is a name. My sister, however, was extremely disrespectful when she found out and questioned my wife's commitment to me and our marriage, and then promptly blocked my wife on social media for 6 months. Well, that might actually, be a blessing. But anyway. All right. Fast forward to a couple weeks ago, my sister made a statement in a group message that my wife, quote, always has to be right and should shut up and bug out of the family, end of quote. Over the past several years, my sister's made several snipes, inferring my wife isn't part of the family. But this was a major turning point. I've had little patience with my sister's quick and ill-witted temper for decades and have generally avoided conversing with her outside of family events. In addition, my sister's kids are unhinged and rude. The last family event we hosted, the oldest nephew trashed our house and told my wife to shut the blank up. Needless to say, we don't want them in our house or around our daughter. Well, good point. I agree with that, right? My mother is an enabler and has for years sloughed off my sister's attitude and behavior as it's just who she is. In addition, she insists that my sister's kids aren't that bad. Finally, in reference to the last outburst from my sister to my wife, my mother said in a text something very similar to, listen, let the thing go and we're all going to get along now. This is not a solution and left my wife even more frustrated. My wife's current sentiment has become that she looks forward to me leaving for my deployment so that she doesn't have to deal with my family anymore. I'm completely on my wife's side, as you should be. She wants to be able to be civil with my family, but the continuous disrespect and enablement has led both of us to want to disengage my family completely, which is not fair to our daughter. I'm going to come back to that point because I disagree. We simply can't and won't keep walking into situations that slap us in the face, figuratively. My wife's remedy is to have us sit down with my family and explain and clear any misunderstandings, disagreements, or ill feeling, and set forth expectations. I'm unsure if I'm ready to have this heart-to-heart encounter. I will put my wife's feelings and well-being before my extended family. As it is written, therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and cling to his wife, and the two shall be one flesh. What are your recommendations to get through this conversation or to move forward with or without my extended family? All right. So here we go. Here's what I have to say to this, right? Okay. So back to the sister was disrespectful and blocked her on social media. Right. Simply stated, your sister is out of line. It's none of her business, and she should keep her opinion to herself. And it's very disrespectful of her to block your wife on social media, even for a day, much less 6 months. You two work out what kind of name your wife's going to take, and that's it. And your wife is, or your sister is out of line, and that shouldn't be. It shouldn't be allowed. And then you go on, you say, my mother's an enabler. For years, left off my sister's attitude and behavior as, it's just who she is. As a therapist, that phrase, it's just who she is, or it's just who I am, makes my blood boil. Would you say the same about a mass murderer? Well, that's just who he is. He goes around killing people. I don't think so, right? I mean, that phrase acknowledges that the person's behavior is unacceptable and bad. But yet I'm not going to do anything about it, and neither should you. I could go on about this one, but I won't. But that is no defense. That's excuse making where there are no excuses, and so I have a problem with that. Let's see here. Then your mother says, well, let's just get get along, go along to get along. And no, that's not a solution either, of course, because it will leave your wife even more frustrated, right? You don't solve problems by ignoring them or brushing them under the rug, all right? All right. So here's the point I wanted to make, though. You say, you'd like to disengage from your family completely, but it's not fair to your daughter. I'm not sure I'd say that it's not fair to your daughter. I mean, I don't know that it would be good to have her around your sister or your sister's children. I mean, that might actually be harmful to your daughter to be around those people. So, as for being around your mother, well, that depends on how your mother behaves when your daughter's around. But it may be the best thing you can do for your daughter is to separate her from the family. If it's dysfunctional, disrespectful, and mean, it might be something that you want to do. All right? So, so here you go. So what's my overall take on this thing? And so I'll try to be gentle in how I say this. Your wife's suggested remedy to sit down with your family and explain and try to clear up the misunderstanding and the disgruntled feelings and set forth expectations makes a lot of sense. But it's not her job to do. It's yours. Okay? And when you say you don't know if you're ready to have this heart-to-heart encounter, my question is, what more needs to happen before you're willing to put boundaries around the disrespect that your family shows to your wife? You said right at the start that they've been disrespecting you for decades. Well, if you're not ready yet, when will you be ready? So I want to be gentle about this, but I think it's time to kind of man up on this one and gently but firmly put your family in the place where they belong, okay? I think it's time for you to step up and protect your wife. Listen, here's the deal, right? In marriage, here's the rule, okay? The husband handles problems with his side of the family, and the wife handles problems with her side of the family. Since this is a problem with your side of the family, you need to handle it, right? Now, I don't think I'd recommend talking to the entire family all at once. Right? They could gang up on you and they could beat you up and it sounds pretty much like they've dismissed you anyway all these years. So I don't think I'd take them all on at once. That might not be a good idea. So my idea would be to sit down first with your sister and have a very brief conversation with her that might go something like this. I'm upset and offended by the way you've spoken to my wife, and I will not allow you to continue to treat her like that, okay? And if you continue to criticize or belittle her, my relationship with you or our relationship with your family will come to an end until you choose to change how you treat my wife, okay? This is not at all what I want. I'd love for us to be able to get together and enjoy wonderful family times, but not at the expense of my wife being insulted. So I would like to ask you going forward not to criticize her or judge her or say anything cruel to her. Can you treat her with respect and kindness? If she says great, if she says yes, great, problem solved. Maybe, you'll have to wait and see. If she says no, then you let her know what the boundaries are. And that may well be we won't be coming to family activities at your house or ones in which you'll be present, right? And you won't be invited to activities at our house at Christmas time or whatever, right? Whatever boundaries you feel are appropriate. Now, this should be a brief conversation. You don't want to get into a long discussion or debate about your wife's qualities or the righteousness of your sister's opinions that allow her to sit in judgment of your wife. A long discussion will just become circular and nothing good will come of it. Simply state your position, tell her what you need from her and get a response. At that point, conversation is over, right? And then next, you need to have a conversation with your mother where you lay out your concerns and the boundaries you're going to put around your relationship with her going forward as well, and let her know about the conversation you had with your sister, right? And I think then you're done with that. And then you build the life that you need to build with your wife and kids and your own family, all right? I think the bottom line is you are quite correct when you quote Scripture where it says you leave your father and mother and cling to your wife. Your family is putting you in a position where you need to choose between her and them, and they need to understand very clearly that you're going to choose her. And if that means the family at their option is entirely out of your life, well, then that's the way that goes. You don't want that. You've just told them what they need to do to be in your life. And if they have chosen to disrespect you, your wishes, and your wife, that's their decision. Does that make sense? Okay. And I think here's the deal. I mean, there's no greater way you can show your wife that you love her than to draw these firm boundaries with your family where you put her ahead of them and you protect her from them if they are a danger to her. And it sounds like they are. You don't get to disrespect my wife. I don't care who you are. Nobody gets to do that, and I'm not going to tolerate it from anybody. So that's how that goes.
That was the Best of the Week on Relevant Radio. The best way to listen to the Best of the Week is on the Relevant Radio app, free and always free. Download and share the #1 free Catholic app today in the App Store.